Good afternoon. I'm calling to order the Gates County Board of Commissioners special joint meeting with the Gatesville Town Council, 4 o'clock Wednesday, January the 10th, 2024. At this time, I'll allow the Mayor Elton Winslow to call his board to order.
And I will call to order the Gatesville Town Council for the purpose of our joint meeting today.
Thank you very much. Now for the welcome and introductions, I would like to introduce, first off, we have a special guest in the Chancellor's, in the Commissioner's Chamber, John Taylor. Stand, please. This is the Regional Director for Senator Ted Budd, and he's been on the ground most of the day. He met with the county manager and others in the county. He's visited some of the sawmills, I believe, Custom Milling and Ashton Lewis, and you're going to see a lot of him in and out. I think this is your first stop at your new position? Okay.
I'm from Bertie County, and Mr. Sawyer is not a stranger, and others of you that I've interfaced with, and I look forward to helping assist.
Thank you. Thank you and welcome. Thank you and welcome. I'll say, Mayor Winslow, introduce your town council, please.
Sir?
They can introduce your town council, or they can introduce
Council
themselves.
members, Ms. Kay Barker and Doug Lilly.
Okay.
Our other council member, Mr. Bud Carter, had shoulder replacement yesterday, and he's kind of under the weather today.
Okay.
He sends his regrets.
Okay. I'd like the board members to introduce themselves, please. Starting with Brian Roundtree.
Good afternoon. I'm Brian Keith Roundtree, representing the Gates District.
I'm Jonathan Craddock, representing your district.
Awesome.
Linda Hopper, representing the Hopsville District.
Emily Truman for Gatesville District.
And the staff includes,
I'm Pip Godwin, County Attorney.
and Mr. Sauer.
Scott Sauer, County Manager.
And I'm Dr. Anthony Ridley, the chair of the board, and this is my vice chair. He always leaves that off. Like he doesn't know.
I try to get by without it.
I'm going to read a statement of purpose that we prepared for this occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, guests and other officials, and I'm glad to see Sheriff Campbell in attendance as well. Toward the end of calendar year 2023, my colleague, Vice Chairman Jonathan Craddock, noted that the Board of Commissioners is making great progress in gaining traction on many projects. I am honored to serve as board chair as we strive to maintain this momentum and our enthusiasm as we kick off a new year. And we are excited to be meeting with Gatesville Town Council and Mayor Winslow this afternoon. These two governing boards have been united in seeking external funding for important projects, and thanks to the hard work of Representative Bill Ward, Senator Bobby Hannock, and our lobbyist, Mr. Bob Steinberg, the North Carolina General Assembly appropriated $10 million for infrastructure projects to benefit the citizens of the town of Gatesville and Gates County. The Board of Commissioners would also like to thank the town of Gatesville and Mayor Winslow for providing a strong letter to support the Gates County Opiate Project and the committee being led by Commissioner Emily Truman. Working together as elected officials is the best way to serve all of our citizens and taxpayers, and we thank you. You can see from our agenda and the list of discussion points we have a lot to talk about this evening. But first, the county attorney has advised the Board of Commissioners that a closed session is required for a very important matter pertaining to the board. Closed session. Pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A3, to consult with the county attorney to preserve attorney-client privilege that exists between the attorney and this public body. I ask for a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second. Who seconded?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We're in closed session. Once we come out of closed session, we'll continue with the discussion with the town council on the points that you see on the agenda. And shouldn't take long, so y'all hold tight.
Will the town council be with us?
Yeah, they're coming with us, back in the back. Thank you. I need a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Been motion and second to close session. All in favor? Aye. We're out of closed session. I'm going to ask the county manager, Mr. Sauer, to lead the further discussion with the town council of Gatesville.
Madam Chair, thank you. These bullet points are a laundry list. And it started with a conversation with Mayor Winslow. And I've just kept a tablet on my desk with several things that the commissioners have said, we really need to talk to the town of Gatesville about this. One of them is the eyesore across the road where we've got a burned out structure, and I know the sheriff has been involved with investigations and the SBI, but I continue to hear that we are making real good progress on a law enforcement and administrative side, that hopefully there's going to be an opening where if we work collectively, we can hopefully bring that to a conclusion and have that facility taken down. And I guess I wanted to make sure that we were all of one accord on that. And not to say we know exactly what the answer is to what it's going to cost or who's going to pay, but it's certainly something that we've heard a lot about on the county equation.
We certainly would like to see it cleaned up. We waited several months after to see what was going to happen, and nothing seemed to happen. So we tried to find out who. I mean, it's like the people that were living there, they just left. I'm sure they're not paying mortgage on it. The first lien holder had sold it to somebody else. So we couldn't find out who was actual in charge of it. We have cut the grass up there 2 or 3 times. We've hired Brinkley Lawn Care. They take care of our town maintenance with lawns and things like that to kind of keep the grass down as best we could. But we don't have any condemnation ordinances in the town. And I believe you all do, don't you?
Well, the statutes certainly allow for it, and within the town limits, if there's approval from the governing body, I think that can be worked out with little or no trouble.
So I certainly would hope that we could somehow come to some closure with this. I mentioned, Paul Miller mentioned that he would be interested in buying it. So I told him, I said, go for it. If you can buy it, if you'll buy it and tear it down, more power to you. But I haven't heard anything else from him since then.
Well, in terms of advancing this, can we check it with 2 boxes, one from the county and one from the town, to move ahead?
Commissioners? Yes?
Do I need to put that in the motions?
I don't,
No.
just consensus.
Just
It
consensus?
has been released by the arson investigation, hasn't it? Sheriff?
Sheriff.
It was living there, she was the one in charge of the SBI for the officers in that building, but they can't locate her, we have no idea.
Okay.
That's the whole, right next time to get her served, I guess, but, really true, I don't see a problem going ahead and, cleaning it up.
Okay.
Might be something we need to, Mr. Godwin, I need to check.
Mr. Godwin, do you have an input about what?
Well, if the sheriff, are you saying it's still a crime scene, or,
No, sir, they didn't charge her with the officer in that building.
okay. So if we wanted to condemn the building, you don't think the SBI or the district attorney would be, okay? All right.
All right. Next, Mr. Sauer?
Item 2 is fire hydrant replacement. The commissioners, with the adoption of their ARPA plan, set aside funds, I believe, Brad, for 15 fire hydrants. So if there are priority locations, and the mayor had mentioned, I think, right across the street.
Yeah,
We've got a non-functioning hydrant.
In a discussion with our fire chief of the fire department, he said that in going around that there were a few fire hydrants in the town that were not functioning. And I said, well, if you'll let me know which ones those are, we'll see what we can do. I think there were about 4 or 5 of them. The main one, as far as priority is concerned, I think, is the one on the corner over here by the office building. That one is not working at all, and it's on a 12-inch main. And if there were a fire anywhere in downtown Gatesville, the firefighting would be, I think, severely restricted. It would make it a lot tougher. You know, if something happened to this building, or to the Baptist church, or to the courthouse, or to Mr. Godwin's office, anything downtown, that fire hydrant would be very important to doing the job to fight the fire. There are a couple of others, and they all need to be fixed. There may be some fire hydrants or some parts down at the water tower that we had on staff, and
Brad's shaking his head.
nope, not there. Okay. But anyway, yeah, I think that.
So I got 2 checks on fire hydrants.
Consensus?
Yeah.
Check.
Item 3 is really a Brad Arnold item. He was in the office the other morning to tell me that he'd had yet again another subcontractor putting in fiber along the right-of-way, cut a line down on 32 and Carter's Road in that
And Hobbsville.
Hobbsville Road. As we discussed the work that his crew does and the excellent job they do, he reminded me, because he and I are still just getting to know each other. I still haven't even hit my 1-year anniversary yet. He's just a little bit ahead of me. He was reminding me that he really comes with a public works background, not just water and sewer. And he also has a municipal background. And he was reminding me that if, with the board's of commissioners' blessing, there may be things we can do working jointly, that our public utilities staff could assist the town when whether it's helping to clean out a storm drain or getting ready for an event like a hurricane. And if there are things that our staff can be aware of and help to attack, we'd really like to do that. Unfortunately, I've served in some communities where counties were forbidden to help their municipal neighbor, and the towns had a policy not to take their equipment or fire trucks outside the city limits. And what I've experienced here in Gates County
Now, we all have mutual aid,
is a much more collegial and
yeah.
and I'm thinking beyond mutual aid, is there may just be some projects or help that we can assist with.
We have mutual aid, I think, with all the fire departments, and they are very good about cooperating and going and helping at fires and things like that. Now, when I was on the volunteer fire department, I know we've been down and fought fires on the Barfield Road in the Ewer area, and many years ago, they had a major fire in downtown Hertford, and our fire departments went to Clemens County and helped over there. So that's
Well, it's
something
just-
I think that's a big plus here in Gates County, is that the fire departments work together.
Well, Brad reminded me that on a couple occasions, he's had to reach out either to Edenton for equipment or parts or supplies, or to the town of Ahoskie. And if we're having that type of exchange with municipalities in other counties, I want to make sure we're doing our part to be good neighbors to the town of Gatesville. And if that is an approach that the board could endorse and appreciate, I know Brad would just like to make sure we're doing our fair share within the community to help out where we can. So,
Yeah, we've always, like I said, been very cooperative as much as possible. You know, when we had our own water system, we didn't charge the county for water at the courthouse or the office buildings or anything like that. And when we got to the point where we were not operating our wells anymore, we bought water from the county and then gave it to you. So we've always tried to work with the county. You know, just, if we don't work together, we're not going to get anything done.
I just want to make sure we're all doing that, and with the blessing of both boards. And I'm going to pull the sheriff in, because one of the happiest I ever saw him was when he came to me and said that the town was going to purchase, I believe it was tasers that
We
y'all had
bought
available.
tasers and we bought some radar signs.
Yeah, and those have been, I think, very popular, especially the speed radar signs. And again, the fact that you all are willing to help the sheriff with things like that just does a world of good for all of us.
Well, I know when we had the Cycle North Carolina people come through, we were doing refreshments down at the town park, and the sheriff was out there directing traffic. You know, he was aware of what was going on, and his people were here helping out to make sure that the cyclists came through and were safe. So, the sheriff's department, they work very well with us. I'm very appreciative of everything they do, and we will do everything we can to support them.
Well, and again, the mayor just happened to pop in on me, I think, right before Christmas, and we were discussing the fact that we were so blessed to get the $10 million from the General Assembly for water and sewer for the town of Gatesville and the county. And he had mentioned that there was an engineering report done in 2001, and he got me a copy of it. And it's been shared also with Green Engineering that does consulting for the county, because as we start to do some long-range planning, this could be an excellent foundation for the calculations that have already been done for potential flows. And I'm just very grateful that you were able to go back in your archive and find a report that's more than 20 years old.
I've been accused of being a pack rat.
In my book, that's a good
hoarder.
thing. Hoarding is good, I think, when it comes to business
But
files.
there was only one copy left. We had thrown all the rest away, but I did have that one copy.
We will be sure and get it back to you, but we're going to try to digitize the whole thing, including the large engineering drawings. But we still have not received the instructions from Raleigh on how we'll be able to access the $10 million. Part of the applications that the county's already put in, one is a hydraulic study for the water system, another is a hydraulic system for a wastewater system. And those will really help give us some up-to-date information about where we might have valves that are closed or junctions that aren't properly working, and certainly identify loops that we may have to close, like a couple of the jobs we've got going now. But I think we've got just an unbelievable opportunity with this funding from the General Assembly. And I was so glad to see Mr. Taylor here, who's already left us from Senator Budd's office. If he's opening up his hand to help us, I think it's incumbent upon both boards to come up with that priority list and let them know where they might be able to put some federal dollars to help augment the state funding.
I did ask him to send us a cheat sheet of what's available, so we don't have to dig around and figure out, is this fundable or not? So he said he's going to send us something, a list of what's out there that the town of Gatesville and the county can possibly apply for, instead of us just scrounging around trying to figure it out. He's going to send us that. Okay.
The next bullet was tourism, small business development, and downtown improvements. And the mayor, I know, has mentioned he likes cycling. I'm curious since we've got a viewing audience available through the YouTube, if you would share your vision on the bicycle trails and the impact that could have on the tourism.
I first thought about this back before COVID. And at that time, I think Ray Freeman was the chairman of the county commissioners. And I brought it up with him. I talked to him. I talked to Dr. Williams with the Board of Education. And we were talking about the possibility of trying to get a paved bicycle trail from Gatesville around by 158. It would go by Central Middle School. It would go by the community center, the high school, and out to the state park. As it is, that's basically the tourism dollars that we have that go out to the state park. But unless they put a canoe in there and come to the Creekside Park here in Gatesville, they don't get to Gatesville. They don't come here. They stay out there. And we were hoping that possibly by doing that, we could get cyclists to come here and make this a destination where they could ride their bicycles, visit the state park, and eventually, if we were able to do it and go around by Flat Branch and come back across the creek bridge and make it a complete circuit. I think with a little rerouting, we could come up with about a 13-mile route, and we could even sponsor half marathons for runners. There are a lot of 5Ks and 10K events that are put on to raise money for different charities, and it draws a lot of people. A couple of years ago, I didn't run, I walked in the Cooper River Bridge Run in Charleston. And there were 22,000 people that did that. Some walked, some ran, but those types of things can draw people into a county. People that wouldn't normally come. If they're runners, they will go where there are events like that. So I was just trying to think about some things that we could do to get more tourism dollars to the county. To piggyback with the state park, and also hopefully improve people's fitness.
Well, and Commissioner Hoffler,
I have a bicycle, but I'll ride it around town, but I'm not going out on the highway. There's no, I just don't feel comfortable.
It's dangerous.
The roads are not that wide. And I see people riding through here on bicycles. I know when they had that Cycle North Carolina, the route that Gatesville was on was a 100-mile trip. People left Edenton and rode 100 miles in one day and made the circle back. There was some that went over Eden House Bridge into Bertie County and all around. So, and there were, I couldn't tell you how many, there were several thousand people that were in Edenton that, do you have any? How much? 10,000. 10,000 people in Edenton for that bicycle event. I don't know. I don't think we could get 10,000 people. I don't know where Gatesville would put 10,000 people. That's as many people just about as we have in the county.
Right.
But, if you could get more tourism dollars in the county, certainly I would like to see businesses, small industry. If we had sewer and water, well, we got water, but if we had wastewater treatment, we might be able to get some small businesses as well. Some things in the county other than farmers and loggers. That's just about the extent of our local economy. But certainly, that was just something I brought up. I don't know what money DOT has. I know Mark Bassnight has loaded up the Outer Banks with bike trails. But, we're a small county. If we could get something like that, I think it would bring more people to the county, bring more dollars to the county, and maybe encourage some more restaurants or things like that for the people who come.
Well, I was hoping Commissioner Hoffler might add a little bit about the work.
Yeah,
their
it's
committee
tourism is one of the things we're really looking hard at because it is a way to boost our tax revenue without having to provide a lot, you don't have to provide schools or DSS, we can do it there. And we are looking at it. Right now, we're preparing to have an assessment of the things we have in the county. And surprisingly, we do have a lot of things, but we don't publicize them.
Right.
And we need to do that. And so we are in the process of we're going to do an assessment of all the things. The rodeo we have, the water skiing we have. Do we promote it enough? Different things. So do an assessment on that. Also look for opportunities. A half marathon in Elizabeth City, they do the Coast Guard, and it's grown leaps and bounds every year. So there are things that we can do. I know at the Mill Pond, they used to have a 5K walk or 5K run. So there are things like that we could do, and we are looking at those and trying to come up with a list that we can go by and to bring in people and also to get them to spend money in Gates County that will help us, our tax base. And so we are trying to be on top of that, and we have a meeting at the end of January about this assessment we're doing.
Mr. Allen?
So I'm okay putting 2 checks there, too.
Yes, sir.
A real brief mention on pedestrian safety. I don't know if we could ever get a highway-approved crosswalk in Gatesville to safely make it over to the post office, but we've had discussions with the board about just the sidewalk in front of the courthouse here. And even our risk management carrier has mentioned that we've got some real hazards where the steps go down toward the church and around the...
Mrs. Barker and I have discussed this as well because of the American Disabilities Act. We are probably out of compliance with the sidewalk out here in front. The angles are too steep for a person in a wheelchair. Plus, we do not have a sidewalk from that the front to the back here where the elevator is. And if you try to push a wheelchair through that grass, it is difficult. So there are some basic things that we need to do. And we think we can get money through American Disability Act. We also think that, there are things that are provided for counties that they can get about fixing up storefronts, beautification grants, and all that would help with the sidewalk issues that we have. And that's where the partnership between the county and the county seat would be advantageous to both of us.
We'll certainly be glad to work with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Check.
Yeah, the sidewalks we do get some money, Powell bill money, but that amounts to about $10,000 a year. And we have to do, if we have to repave any of the back streets, we have to spend that money for that. We can spend it for gutters and curb and gutter, and we can spend it for sidewalks around the town. But that money doesn't go very far.
Well, I know the Albemarle Commission and the lady who works with DOT on that commission has, I think we can maybe work with her to come up with a plan and get some money for it. But we had to have a time, it can't come to the county.
Now, see, I've got a problem across the street with the light pole in the middle of the sidewalk. And I'm trying to work with Dominion Power And they said they thought they might could move it for about $60,000. So we're looking at some alternatives to that.
Sal?
The last item I'm just going to share is a public service announcement. I spent quite a bit of time with a couple of the consultants from the Insight Group that used to be Holland Planners.
Austin Brinkley and Cindy, yeah.
Yes, and they are in the process of updating their land use plan through the CAMA program. They've got a online citizen survey that they'd like to get as much input as they can, and I was going to mention that this evening in my reports at your 6 o'clock meeting, but anything we could do to encourage folks to take that short survey, I think would, whether it's commissioners, employees, whoever, I think it would really help the town with the process.
We've had one meeting, joint meeting between the planning board and the town council and the Insight consultants, and we're having another one on the 7th of February at 6:30. We're going to have it before our regular monthly meeting. One of the things that Sam Solomon, who's the chairman of the planning board, one of the things that he thought about, and this might be, I don't know if there's something that we could help with that as well, is trying to encourage NC State and North Carolina A&T to establish a research laboratory in Gates County, because we've got the Mill Pond and we've got Bennett's Creek and we've got the Chowan River. There's a lot of research that could go on with limnology, which is freshwater ecology. You know, if we could get some type of research facility, maybe at the state park or even here in town somewhere, and encourage some academic activity in the county.
And I know when I was still teaching, I know Mrs. Campbell had to take water samples at Mill Pond for some type of study that was being
Right.
done. So that's an excellent idea.
But, you know, something where if we could get graduate students from A&T or from Chapel Hill or from NC State to come in here and do some scientific studies, and that would, I think, be good for the county.
Absolutely.
Mr. Vice Chair?
The CAMEL survey, is that an online survey?
Yes.
It's,
I believe you've got a QR code that we can share with everyone that they can access that survey.
So with the-
It's very short, and it's really all about the things that we've talked about tonight, so.
So I know we have a hard time reaching everyone. Is that something we could put in the water bill Sunday?
With the water bill, the website, any number of ways. We could certainly do
Gotta
that.
get it out.
Because the more people that take the survey, the better off we are.
Well, we're close to the dinner hour, and Jolene has been cooking all afternoon. I don't know if you want to do the next item over dinner, or,
Over dinner. I want to thank the town council for coming and just sitting with us. We need to do more of this, not every month, but
I was going to suggest maybe a quarterly
that would
joint
work.
meeting.
That would work. So, Mr. Sauer, board clerk, make note, then every quarter we're going to meet with the town council.
Once every quarter, we could sit down like this and talk about things that we can do together. Because, like you say, when you're applying for grants, if you've got county and municipal governments working together,
It's a plus.
that's a plus. And we need to take advantage of every government dollar that we can, because I know, as far as ad valorem tax is concerned, that only goes so far.
Only goes so far. So we'll make note of that, and we're going to do our due diligence and the things we've talked about as far as looking into all these items that we have on this agenda. We have a consensus of the board and a consensus of the town council. So as soon as we can get do our due diligence and get reports, the county manager will share them with the mayor, and y'all can have it in your meetings, we have it in our meetings, and we'll move forward. I'm looking forward to it. I think we all are. Looking forward to it.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
a case in point of joint cooperation, our support of our resolution, county resolution and council resolution in support of Annie Holland Markham, was approved unanimously by Archives and History
Oh.
Committee.
Okay,
So that will be in Gates County.
All
in
right.
Sunday area where she started her career.
That's great.
In the same things that Ms. Truman was talking about earlier, educating the public on things that benefit lifestyle. and so forth.
all right. Any other comments or questions from the commission,
I think we need to be
town council?
I want to thank y'all for doing it as well. I think it's been very useful, and like I said, I think if we get together periodically, quarterly or whatever, and discuss things that are of mutual benefit to the town and to the county, that I think we're on the right track.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I see that we have Public Safety Committee, newly established Vice Chair Jonathan Craddock. You have something to say?
Yeah, I'll make it real brief. So we were talking, I don't know, it was last year sometime.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been a little slow rolling. But we will be having our first meeting January 31st, right here in these quarters. The first meeting is going to just kind of setting up a public health safety board for the county to bring all the emergency entities together, the sheriff's department, EMS, the emergency management, water department, broadband, fire departments, and everybody's not going to meet at one time. There's not going to be 20 people sitting on the board, but I've reached out to some key players that we think would be great to serve on this board, and that'll be starting the end of this month for our first meeting to get everything established, and then we'll set up agendas. We'll set up how often we need to meet and what we need on the agendas, and just to start looking into the future of what we need for our fire departments and sheriff's departments. And if we know there's something coming down the road that they're gonna need, whether it's well, we took care of the new vehicles this year if they ever get here, but the fire departments and stuff, you know, forming this capital plan, looking into the future where we might not need it this year, but we know we're gonna need it, so if a grant comes up or some money is allocated somewhere, we can ask for them and help to take it out of the taxpayer's pocket, is what it's doing. So really looking forward to that, and it probably will coincide with the time of Gatesville, so you might be invited to one of our meetings one day to share some opinions and whatever y'all need for the time. So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to get that going.
Good deal, good deal. If no other conversation, we're going to have dinner across the street at 5 o'clock. I call it my private or our private dining hall. Just walk right across there. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned until 6 o'clock.
This is safe here.
Yeah, I think everything will be fine right here, you're right. I don't need to carry anything across the street.
I put my wallet in there, so I might not use glasses.